Bryce Canaan may have been the opportunity of your lifetime, but I don't want your life.
This week I watched Varsity Blues, which is apparently a very popular football movie that I had somehow no concept of going into it at all. I was like, oh, I have no idea what this is going to be about, and then it felt very familiar, and it turns out it feels very familiar because lots of other movies are spoofing this movie, and now I know the source material. First, we're going to talk about the plot of this movie, and I'm going to try to relay to you the plot as quickly as possible. Okay, stop me if you've heard this movie before. It's about a tiny town in Texas where everybody cares way too much about high school football, and the dads drink too much, and they put too much pressure on their son to try to recapture the glory days of their youth, and the soulless coach only cares about winning, and James Van Der Beek is a second-string quarterback, and you can tell he's different from the other boys because he cares about things like books and going to Brown, and he has a brunette girlfriend. And then the first-string quarterback, he gets hurt, and James Van Der Beek takes over, and it turns out he's really good at football. Oh no, we didn't finish it in time. If I kind of finished, I would have told you that when he gets good at football, we get to find out whether or not things like too much attention and too many boobs go to his head and change his values, and also whether or not they win the big game at the end of the season. There is one big issue with this movie, which is that the central point hinges on something that doesn't make any sense. So, James Van Der Beek is the backup quarterback, and the coach didn't like him because he wasn't good at football, and he wasn't good at football because he didn't care about football, and he didn't care about football because it goes against his values. And then it turns out, given an opportunity to play, he's actually very good at football. But it's like if he was good at football all along, none of this would have gotten started. It's like a Mobius strip of football and Texan values.
I was about to make an ice cream sundae. You want one?
Ali Larter's character is originally she's dating the starting quarterback. He gets hurt, and while they're still at the hospital, she throws herself at James Van Der Beek because he's gonna become the starting quarterback. And she does this, we find out her sympathetic backstory is that she's I'm really just trying to get out of this town. She's I gotta throw myself at whoever's the star quarterback because that's my ticket out of here. And it's cheerleaders don't go with their football players to college. That's not how that works.
All right, let's go. Come on, break it down.
We'll talk about the football. The most authentic and progressive part of the sport play in this film is the regularity with which people suffer head injuries and the fact that Billy Bob definitely has some early stages CTE. They introduce the idea of concussion protocol and the fact that they're not taking it seriously enough, and the fact that they're not taking it seriously enough means that Billy Bob frequently has headaches and dizziness, and then at one point gets pretty close to killing himself with a shotgun on the football field. Then James Van Der Beek, who's feeling very white savior and smug about himself because he threw a touchdown pass to the black boy and then also didn't have sex with Ali Larter, goes and is I'm gonna save the day. And instead of getting Billy Bob the professional medical help that he definitely needs, he's play one more football game for me. And it's no! This kid, he has swelling in his cranium. He needs to go and see a doctor and a psychiatrist and a therapist, but he definitely does not need to play another football game.
I'm back. Puke and rally.
When I first saw this movie, I thought, this movie feels like if Not Another Teen Movie spoofed Friday Night Lights, which I was impressive because both of those movies came out after Varsity Blues. And then I realized that Not Another Teen Movie was actually spoofing this movie, which in and of itself feels like a spoof of Friday Night Lights. It's pretty self-aware and of the degree to which everyone in this town takes football too seriously. But the triumphant moment is still that they win the football game. So how self-critical is it really of that culture? James Van Der Beek is supposed to be the voice of reason who recognizes the small town values are not necessarily gonna get you out into the world. What does he say? I don't want your life. But then he does, because then he's I gotta win this football game, and then they hoist him up on their shoulders. So it's a movie that's there are competing factors in your life, and maybe you want to go to college, and maybe you want to read books, but it's in the end, the allure of hoisting up a trophy will get to you, and you'll be I do want your life.